Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB and today is the 17th of March 2025 and unfortunately guys, the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies hasn't pumped up a lot. But look guys, with President Donald Trump in charge and the world heading towards world peace, I'm pretty much sure there's only one direction in which the prices would be heading towards. And on the 12th of this month guys, the inflation number was out as well, and looks like the inflation in the United States of America has gone down. And what is going to happen guys on the 19th of this month, which is just few days from now, Federal Chair Jerome Powell will be making a decision whether to reduce the interest rate, keep it the same or increase the interest rate. And I'm pretty much sure that is going to be positively impacting the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies as well. So what I'd really recommend you to do is guys, keep a track on what is going on at the geopolitical level, particularly United States of America. And the first news guys I'm going to be talking about is regarding White House. And the White House under Trump administration looks like it is turning orange. And there is an article that is published by Decrypt that actually claims that Bo Hines, who's the executive director of the Presidential Working Group on Digital Assets, he has made some kind of comment regarding the White House will be buying Bitcoin. Now look guys, I hate saying this. At this point of time, it looks like more of a rumor and speculation. Cause look, if President Donald Trump would actually go out and make an announcement regarding buying Bitcoin, you would have seen official information regarding this, but that's not to say that this news is fake news as well. We will just have to wait to see if there is some legitimacy to this news. Now in the world of Bitcoin guys, we do have another interesting development, and this is from the state of Kentucky. And even without researching, I can clearly state that this is a Republican state. And what has happened is, Kentucky Senate passes bill that would protect Bitcoin from self-custody rights. And here's the interesting thing guys, there was absolutely 0 votes against it. This, to be honest, is absolutely great, isn't it? So we'll definitely go ahead and touch base on this news. Now the next news guys is a really interesting news, and this is connected to the CEO of Telegram and what happened guys a few months ago in 2024 under the Biden administration. He was actually arrested in France, isn't it? And there is a really interesting development to this, and looks like the French authority, they have set him free temporarily and he's able to relocate to Dubai, and this is after a period of 7 months. And what has happened guys, because of this, all of the tokens that are connected to Telegram, they have seen a drastic pump up in the price of it as well. So we'll definitely go and discuss this news. Now it is great that the prices are pumped up guys, but whenever a token is associated to one particular individual or entity, that to be honest is definitely not right, isn't it? So these are things you need to be aware of as well. Now the final news guys we're going to be talking about is to do with a company called Clearstream. And Deutsche Börse's Clearstream guys, they are offering Bitcoin and Ethereum custodial services. Now look guys, it is so important to understand the difference between custodial and non-custodial services. And what I'm doing guys, in the second project that I have, that is Bitcoin DXB, I am going live with a good friend of mine via LinkedIn, and we will be discussing how to go and store and manage your Bitcoin, and we'll definitely go and touch base on the details of custodial versus non-custodial services. But what I'll do is I'll go ahead and release it as a standalone episode as well. But regarding this news guys, it is great that banking institutions are directly offering people to go ahead and buy Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. But at the same time, it is so critical that we truly understand not your keys, not your Bitcoin. So we have quite a lot of things to cover guys in today's episode. And like we do in every Crypto and Coffee Date series, we will be looking at 2 news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now both the news guys are definitely fabulous news. And the first one is to do with Ripple, and they have secured first Digital Financial Services Authority blockchain payment license in Dubai. So we'll definitely go ahead and take a deep dive into this. Now the second news guys is regarding Binance, and this did make quite a lot of news not just in the cryptocurrency world, but even in the finance world. And the news essentially is that Binance have secured $2 billion from Abu Dhabi based MGX, and based on the rumors guys, they have received just one check for $2 billion. Definitely powerful and interesting news, isn't it? So what I'll do guys in today's episode, I'll definitely go ahead and explain what this news is all about. And regarding MGX guys, they do hold a minority stake in Binance. So we'll definitely go ahead and touch base on all of these news. So quite a lot to cover guys in today's episode. Let's kickstart with it right away. Thank you to our sponsors for being part of the Blockchain DXB journey. Firstly, Advanced Media. Advanced Media guys is the largest distributor of professional video, photo, broadcast and cinematic equipment and accessories in the Middle East and MENA region. With over 2 decades of experience, Advanced Media is now the largest distributor in the Middle East, representing more than 100 recognizable brands, including brands such as Zeiss, DJI, Hasselblad, Red and Rode. As a matter of fact, guys, the very mic that I'm recording is being sponsored by Advanced Media as well. And Advanced Media has showrooms in Saudi Arabia and services as well. Looks like they're definitely taking the Middle East by storm. And here's the beautiful thing, guys. They're taking corporate social responsibility very seriously. And they're focusing on 3 P's. That is people, planet, and prosperity. Now listen, guys, if you do want to find out more information regarding the statement of corporate social responsibility, check out the website, that is www.amt.tv. And here's the beautiful thing, guys. They also want to be a leader and set an example and reputation as a pioneer and member of the community. And in doing so, guys, they also have an AMT scholarship with SAE Institute in Dubai, UAE. So definitely check it out. And also, guys, Advanced Media is committed to persistently developing, organizing, and hosting training workshops, seminars, and community events that educate, inform, and familiarize consumers with new equipment and the latest technological advances. So listen, guys, do one thing. If you do want to support this channel, go to the website, that is www.amt.tv, and follow the social media channels as well. All of the details are in the show notes below. Next, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen, guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing. Go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform. Check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And finally, guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now, guys, since you've taken care of that, let's kickstart by looking at the global cryptocurrency market. Unfortunately, guys, the numbers are definitely not looking that great, but in comparison to the last 2 weeks, guys, the numbers are definitely not bad either. Now, what is really interesting to note, guys, is President Donald Trump did actually sign the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve Senate, and that news itself should be completely bullish. But look, people were anticipating that the US government will proactively go out and buy Bitcoin. Now look, guys, the only reason why people were anticipating is this because of mainstream media, as well as a lot of Bitcoin influencers. They were putting out a completely fake narrative that with Bitcoin Reserve, President Donald Trump will be going ahead and buying Bitcoin. This, to be honest, guys, was definitely misleading. And I cannot stress this enough, guys. Go ahead and listen to the speech that President Donald Trump had at the Bitcoin Nashville event. Very clearly stated that regarding Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, The only thing that he'll actually do is that the existing Bitcoin that is held by the government will not be sold, and looks like the promises have been kept. So essentially what has happened, guys, is a lot of people on LinkedIn, they are making up their own stories, and then media that covers news regarding Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, they got in hope that the US government will be going ahead and buying Bitcoin. This, to be honest, was definitely not the intention of the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, and when that thing did not happen, guys, the prices of Bitcoin did actually plummet, isn't it? So what I'd really recommend you to do is, rather than listening to mainstream media, go ahead and listen to the entire speech. And there was no promises by the US government to go ahead and buy Bitcoin. But nonetheless, guys, regarding the inflation numbers, the inflation has gone down. And in just a matter of 2 days, the FOMC meeting is scheduled to take place. And there is a very high possibility that Federal Chair Jerome Powell will keep the interest rate the same. And if that thing happens, guys, the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency should definitely be pumping up. But whatever I'm saying is definitely not financial advice, and make sure you go out and do your own research. Now let's take a deep dive into the global cryptocurrency market. And unfortunately, guys, I'm definitely not liking the volume of stable coins, because it is less than half of what I anticipated it to be. It is only at $52.65 billion. But it's also important to understand, guys, I'm looking at these numbers in the early hours of the buy, and there is a very high possibility over the next few hours the prices will actually pump up. But so far as the global cryptocurrency market is concerned, it is well below the $3 trillion mark. It is only at $2.73 trillion, and since the last 24 hours it is actually down by 1.20%. And if you look at the total cryptocurrency market volume, guys, it is only at $56.90 billion, and since the last 24 hours it is up by 7.03%. Now look, guys, the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency world is absolutely wild. Last week there was two massive news that should have actually pumped up the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. The first one was regarding the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. The second one was regarding the Crypto Summit news. And both the news are definitely positive for the world of cryptocurrency, isn't it? But looks like the market was expecting quite a lot of more from the administration, which to be honest was completely driven by incorrect information circulating via LinkedIn and mainstream media. And unfortunately, guys, despite two positive news for the world of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, the prices are not reflecting it now. But I'm pretty much sure, guys, in just a matter of a few weeks and months, because of the news regarding Bitcoin Strategic Reserve and Crypto Summit, there will be positive implication on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now, unfortunately, guys, no matter what happens in the geopolitical level, or even at a technical level, so far as Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is concerned, the volume in decentralized finance is definitely horrendous, and to date is well below the $5 billion mark, and the total volume in decentralized finance is currently at $4.29 billion, and DeFi, guys, as of today, is accounting for 8.64% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. And when you talk about the total value locked, guys, it is on a downtrend, and today it is at $90.80 billion. And one matrix, guys, which I'm definitely not content, that is the decentralized to centralized exchange dominance, and today it is at 21.18%. And one of the reasons why this is worrisome is because, guys, out of this 21.18%, I wouldn't be surprised if centralized exchanges account for more than 10% of the volume. And if that is the case, guys, this matrix is definitely not looking good, isn't it? And even if you look at the 24-hour volume of the top 5 decentralized exchanges, the numbers are definitely not great. But surprisingly, PancakeSwap is at number 1, guys, and its volume is almost on the verge of touching the $2 billion mark. It is at $1.98 billion. Now, as I understand, guys, PancakeSwap is connected to Binance, isn't it? So what I'd really recommend you to do is keep a track on what is going on in the world of Binance. And later on, guys, I'll go ahead and discuss massive investment that Binance did actually receive by an Abu Dhabi firm called as MGX. And looks like it is only because of that the volume of PancakeSwap is pumped up. So it looks like because of the investment, a lot of protocols are being developed in the world of PancakeSwap and Binance. Now, going back to the volume of decentralized exchanges, Uniswap is always at number 1, but today it is down to number 2 and its volume is $833.71 million. Radium, guys, is back in the top 5, but its volume is ridiculously low and it is only at $348.72 million. At number 4, the Score Finance, and its volume is $257.07 million. Meteor, guys, is at number 5th and its 24-hour volume is $219.82 million. Now let's quickly run to the volume of stable coins. And as I mentioned earlier, guys, I'm definitely not content with the volume of stable coins, but it could be possible because I'm looking at these numbers in the early hours of the buy. This volume is ridiculously low because it is showing only at $52.62 billion. And stablecoins, guys, as of today is accounting for 92.48% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. And out of this $52.65 billion, guys, Tether USDT is accounting for $44.84 billion. Circle USDC is at number 2nd with $4.74 billion. And FDUSD is at number 3rd. And its volume is well below the $3 billion mark. It is only at $2.54 billion. Now let's quickly run to the market cap, 24-hour trading volume and dominance between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now Bitcoin's dominance, guys, is at a staggering 61.04%, but if you look at Ethereum's dominance, it is down to 8.04%. Now look, guys, because of volume of decentralized exchanges led by PancakeSwap, which is mostly working on Binance BNB chain, I'm pretty much sure a lot of transactions are actually taking place in Binance, and I'm looking at the market cap of Binance, guys. Since the last 72 hours, the market cap of Binance has definitely picked up pace, and it has well overtaken the market cap of Solana blockchain. Binance BNB's market cap is at $89.79 billion, whereas Solana's market cap has a difference of over $20 billion. To be precise, Solana's market cap is down to $65.80 billion. So look, guys, looking at decentralized exchange volume, you get an idea as to what is going on regarding every protocol, isn't it? And that is the reason why in the Blockchain DXB podcast, guys, I do want to look at plethora of information, and a lot of the information is directly and indirectly connected to each other. Now, unfortunately, guys, one matrix which I'm definitely not content, that is the 24-hour trading volume. And Bitcoin's 24-hour trading volume is less than $20 billion mark. It is at $17.93 billion, whereas Ethereum's 24-hour trading volume is $8.43 billion. Now, if you look at the market cap of Ethereum and Bitcoin, guys, the numbers are definitely not looking good. Ethereum's market cap is down to $229 billion. Now, Bitcoin's market cap is down to $1.66 trillion. Now, look, guys, the only reason why the price of Bitcoin and the market cap has not increased is because people's expectations were unnecessarily high regarding Bitcoin's strategic reserve. And this, to be honest, guys, is definitely no fault of President Donald Trump. And via LinkedIn, guys, I was always commenting on other people's posts that President Donald Trump's strategic reserve does not make any promises of buying Bitcoin as such. Rather, the existing Bitcoin will not be sold. And that, to be honest, is a perfect use case of hodl mentality, isn't it? But looks like people are making up their own assumption. And only because of that, looks like the prices did not react positively when the strategic Bitcoin reserve was announced by President Donald Trump. But look, guys, news such as this is definitely great, not just for the United States of America, but even when you talk about Bitcoin at a national or state level, news such as this is definitely phenomenal and great, isn't it? And I wouldn't be surprised if other countries do actually follow a similar pursuit. As a matter of fact, last week I talked about South Korea. They are planning a Bitcoin strategic reserve, and I wouldn't be surprised, guys, in the next few months, we will be seeing quite a lot of such news. Now, what I want to do next in today's episode, I want to look at the top decentralized physical infrastructure tokens by market capitalization. And every day in the Blockchain DXB podcast, guys, I tend to look at one new matrix, isn't it? So today I thought, let me go and look at the top decentralized physical infrastructure token by market capitalization. And Bitenza, guys, today is back to number 1, because last week it was at number 3 if I'm not mistaken, and its market cap is at $2.93 billion. Now, if you're someone who's actually working on Bitenza, guys, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Maybe we can go ahead and release an episode as to what you're building in Bitenza. Now, if I'm not mistaken, guys, Bitenza is kind of like the Ethereum for the artificial intelligence world, isn't it? Where you can go ahead and build a lot of protocols in artificial intelligence, but it would be working in a so-called distributed or decentralized world. And that is the whole point of decentralized physical infrastructure, or DePIN, isn't it? Now, the number 2nd, guys, is Filecoin, and its market cap is at $1.85 billion. The 3rd one is Render Token, and its market cap is at $1.64 billion. Tether Network is at number 4th. Its market cap is $875 billion. And at number 5th is BitTorrent, which I believe is a newer version, guys. And its market cap is below the $1 billion mark at $681 million. Now, guys, let's go and look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin. And the price of Bitcoin is $83,320. And since the last 24 hours, it is down by 0.54%. And since the last 7 days, it is up by 1.36%. Now look, guys, on the 19th of this month, Federal Judge Jerome Powell will be making a decision whether to keep the interest rate, reduce the interest rate, or increase it. Now the chances for him to go ahead and actually increase the interest rate is pretty much less, and that, to be honest, is definitely great for the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. But let's say, guys, if Federal Chair Jerome Powell does decide to go ahead and keep the interest rate the same, that is also great, but it depends on what narrative fake news mainstream media goes with. They could actually state because President Donald Trump is imposing tariffs, Federal Chair Jerome Powell is not too confident in the market, and because of that he's not reduced the interest rate. And mainstream media, guys, as we know, is completely left-leaning, isn't it? They are definitely not fans of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and if that thing happens, guys, I do feel that the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies could actually go down. So essentially, guys, what I'm trying to say is the market does not actually necessarily react to fundamentals, rather does react to fake news that is portrayed by left-leaning mainstream media. Because look, if Federal Chair Jerome Powell keeps the interest rate the same, it would actually mean that the market is not doing that bad, but at the same time it is not doing that great either, which, to be honest, guys, is also great for the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And historically, in such situations, the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are pumped up. But let's say, guys, if Federal Chair Jerome Powell does actually decide to go ahead and reduce the interest rate, that would be absolutely great for the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And that would actually mean that the economy is doing that great, which did actually reflect by the economic data that was released few days before the CPI inflation numbers. And the inflation numbers were also down. But look, guys, exactly same thing did actually take place in December of last year, but mainstream media went with a completely fake news narrative. What mainstream media started saying is that because Federal Chair Jerome Powell has reduced the interest rate in December, he will not be reducing the interest rate in January. And as I mentioned a few minutes ago, guys, it does not matter what the fundamentals are. What matters is what narrative mainstream media goes with, and whether we like it or not, it is the influence of mainstream media that drives the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Let's say, guys, in a hypothetical situation, if Federal Chair Jerome Powell does decide to go ahead and increase the interest rate, but if the mainstream media does actually state that the world is heading towards panic, and this is an ideal time to go ahead and buy Bitcoin, and Bitcoin might turn out to be a hedge against inflation, what do you think is going to happen to the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies? A lot of high net worthy individuals, a lot of investors will be going ahead and buying a lot of Bitcoin, isn't it? So it depends on what narrative mainstream media does actually go with, and that news does actually drive the momentum in the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, which is completely unfortunate, isn't it? But look, guys, the only thing I can say is always go and look at information from first source. And regarding the FOMC meeting, the website to check is the Federal Reserve Board website. And Federal Chair Jerome Powell does actually go live via YouTube, and he gives his explanation as to whether he's kept the interest rate, reduced the interest rate, or increased the interest rate. So it's going to be really interesting to see what the outcome to the FOMC meeting is. Now, regarding the price of Ethereum, guys, unfortunately, it is almost on the verge of going below the $1,900 mark, because the price right now is $1,902. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens to the price of Ethereum in the next few hours. I wouldn't be surprised, guys, by the time you're listening to the episode, the price of Ethereum is below the $1,900 mark, because since the last 24 hours, it is down by 1.56%, and since the last 7 days, it is down by 8.02%. Ripple or XRP, guys, is at $2.34. Since the last 24 hours, it is down by 0.03%, and since the last 7 days, it is down by 0.04%. Now look, guys, with President Donald Trump getting re-elected, a lot of the news in the world of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are connected to him, isn't it? And there are rumors circulating that the White House is turning orange, and there's a really interesting article that is published by Decrypt, guys, and what this article actually states is that White House is going orange, and this is because the new administration plans to buy more Bitcoin, according to Bo Hines. But look, guys, if you actually go and read through the article, it does not give any official sources. What the article does actually state is that according to Bo Hines, who is the executive director of the Presidential Working Group on Digital Assets, a lot of the attendees who attended that session, they actually said that there were talks about the White House going ahead and buying Bitcoin. Now, me personally, guys, I'm not buying it yet, because look, guys, there's no official sources regarding this, but the article talks about attendees at the Closure Roundtable conference that was hosted by the Bitcoin Policy Institute, and they are actually confirming, without giving out actual names, that Bo Hines stated that the administration aims to acquire Bitcoin, but if you look at the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, guys, it clearly states that a single penny will not be used to go ahead and buy Bitcoin. So as much as I like this news, guys, I hate saying this, but this looks like more of a misleading information. But look, who's to say things could definitely change as well? And if the White House does actually go ahead and buy Bitcoin, guys, things will definitely be looking good, not just for the price of Bitcoin, but for a lot of other cryptocurrencies as well, isn't it? So let's wait and see what the outcome to this is. Now guys, let's go and discuss another news, and this is from the state of Kentucky. And Kentucky Senate, guys, they passed a bill that will protect Bitcoin self-custody rights. And here's the interesting thing, guys, not a single person voted against it. So this is definitely positive news for the world of Bitcoin, isn't it? And the bill, guys, outlines several key provisions. That is protection for Bitcoin self-custody, where individuals have the legal rights to use and store digital assets in self-hosted wallets. And the next provision is regarding prohibition of discriminatory zoning laws. And local governments, guys, cannot impose zoning changes that unfairly target digital asset mining businesses. And the next provision is regarding exemptions from money transmitter license. And this is great for Bitcoin miners, isn't it? And what is going to happen, guys, is home Bitcoin miners and digital asset mining businesses, they will be exempt from Kentucky's money transmitter requirements. This is a massive win, not just for the state of Kentucky, for the broader ecosystem as well, isn't it? And the bill, guys, also have clarification of security laws. And the bill actually states that the digital asset mining and staking as a service are explicitly not classified as securities under Kentucky law. This, to be honest, guys, is definitely great news. And regarding the bill, guys, it now heads to the governor's desk, and I'm pretty much sure the governor will definitely go and sign this. Definitely positive news, not just for the state of Kentucky, but for the broader ecosystem in the world of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now the next news, guys, is a really interesting one, and this is regarding the CEO of Telegram, that is Pavel Durov. Now what I'd really recommend you to do is, guys, Tucker Carlson did have a really long interview with Pavel Durov, and this was well before his arrest. I would really urge you guys to go and listen to the entire interview, where he clearly stated that Dubai and UAE is probably the best place for business. Now, unfortunately, guys, what happened 7 months ago, he was arrested in France, but there is a really interesting development to this, and the French authority has set him free temporarily, and he will be allowed to relocate to Dubai after 7 months. And the news regarding this, guys, is published by France 24, which is a leading publication in France. Now, what has happened, guys, because of this, all of the tokens that is connected to Telegram, they saw a drastic pump in the process. And this news, guys, triggered a 67% surge in Toncon's open interest to $169 million. And so far as the Ton price is concerned, it did actually pump up by 17% to $3.45. Now look, guys, it is needless to say that Pavel Durov's legal troubles over alleged illicit transactions have fueled a lot of concerns about crackdowns on privacy-focused services, isn't it? And if you actually do follow his channel, guys, he did actually decide to go ahead and bend the knee. And one of the posts clearly states that if officials require information, he will be more than happy to go ahead and provide them. So if you look at this news from a privacy point of view, it is definitely not great. And regarding the process, guys, I believe he was arrested in August 2024, isn't it? And at that point of time, it did actually cause the open interest to spike by 32%. And news such as this is definitely unfortunate news, because it does highlight the sensitivity of one person over the price of token. And regarding Bitcoin, guys, I hate saying this, but let's say if something bad were to happen to Michael Saylor, let's say if he were to meet with an accident and pass away, news of that will definitely be impacting the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, isn't it? So these are things you need to be aware of as well. But look, I'm definitely hoping that nothing bad happens to him, because what he's doing for the Bitcoin world is definitely great, and I do admire what he's doing so far as education is concerned as well. But look, as any person's influence over a token or cryptocurrency is definitely not great. And me personally, guys, I'm definitely a massive fan of President Donald Trump, but at the same time, it's really important to note, over-reliance on one particular individual or entity is definitely not great, and this is exactly the reason why Bitcoin was created as well. So these are things you need to be aware about when you're looking at the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now, guys, let's go and discuss another interesting news. And Deutsche Börse's Clearstream, guys, will offer cryptocurrency settlement and custody services to institutional clients later this year. And they are starting with Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I wouldn't be surprised, guys, based on the outcome and feedback from the clients, they might go ahead and start offering Solana as well. Now regarding this move by them, the move definitely aims to meet growing demand from traditional financial institutions, and it is part of a broader push into digital assets, isn't it? And regarding Clearstream, guys, 2,500 of the clients will be able to use the existing accounts for these services, and they also have plans to expand to other cryptocurrencies as I mentioned earlier. Now regarding this initiative, guys, the launch is in partnership with Deutsche Börse's Crypto Finance, and this is following rising demand for crypto support from banking clients, especially after MiCA regulations came into effect last year. Now if you do need official information regarding this, guys, It is published via Bloomberg.com, and the link to that is in the show notes below. But look, as it is really important to understand, not your keys, not your Bitcoin. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, guys, I do have another project called as Bitcoin DXB, and in that project, guys, I want to go ahead and explain Bitcoin at a beginner level, advanced level, and technical level. And this particular project, that is Bitcoin DXB, will be focused only on Bitcoin. Now, if you do need any information regarding this, or if you do want to go ahead and sponsor any of these sessions, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. So these were some macro level newscasts on the Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and blockchain world. Now let's go ahead and look at two news from Dubai, UAE, and the Middle East. And the first newscast is regarding Ripple. And Ripple has become the first blockchain payment provider licensed by Dubai's Financial Services Authority. And this license allows Ripple to operate as a regulated crypto payment provider within the IFC, that is Dubai International Finance Center. And this is Ripple's first regulatory approval in the Middle East. Now, Ripple already serves 20% of its global customer base in the Middle East, and the company previously received an in-principle approval license in October of 2024 for cross-border payments. And Brad Garlinghouse, who is Ripple's CEO, highlighted regulatory clarity and institutional adoption as key drivers of crypto growth in the Middle East. Now look, as the United Arab Emirates continues to position itself as a global hub for cryptocurrency innovation, isn't it? And the UAE has a $440 billion plus international trade market as well. And Ripple's 2024 survey found out that 64% of finance leaders in Middle East and Africa are actually prioritizing faster payments and settlements via blockchain. And DFC Authority CEO and His Excellency Arif Amiri, guys, sees this license as an opportunity for Ripple's growth in the region, and Ripple has maintained its regional headquarters in Dubai International Finance Center since 2020, and over 82% of Middle East and Africa finance leaders, guys, have expressed confidence in blockchain integration. And Reese Marocco, who is Ripple's Managing Director for Middle East and Africa, calls the license a major milestone for cross-border payments. Now look, so far as United Arab Emirates is concerned, it is without a shadow of a doubt one of the largest global hubs of cross-border payments. And regarding Ripple, they now hold over 60 regulatory approvals worldwide, and the previous approvals include licenses from Singapore, New York, Ireland, and several United States authorities. And Ripple also launched a stablecoin, that is RLUSD as well, isn't it? And that was launched in December of 2024. And if you look at its market cap, it is already holding around the $130 million mark. Now look, guys, if Ripple does actually go ahead and increase its market capitalization in the stablecoin world, I do feel they can pose a direct threat to Tether USDT as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see if they do actually venture into stablecoin world. And regarding the stablecoin, Ripple does expect stablecoin adoption to grow in the United Arab Emirates as business seek faster settlement alternatives as well. So definitely interesting news. Now the second news, guys, is another massive news, and there's so much of news circulating this via LinkedIn. And what happened, guys, is MGX, which is a UAE-based AI tech investor firm, they made a $2 billion investment in Binance. Now, seeing posts on LinkedIn, guys, that there was just one check written for $2 billion, I really am not sure what the legitimacy to that is. But in the United Arab Emirates, everything is possible. Now, regarding this investment, guys, it is the largest investment ever made in a crypto company, and it is also the biggest investment paid entirely in stable coins. And this, to be honest, guys, marks the first ever institutional investment in Binance. And so far as MGX is concerned, they now hold a minority stake in Binance as part of its blockchain expansion strategy. And regarding the deal, it does highlight MGX's vision to integrate artificial intelligence, blockchain, and finance as well. Now Binance, as we know, has a major presence in the United Arab Emirates, and they already have over 1,000 employees in the region, and this is out of its 5,000 global workforce. Now regarding UAE, guys, the crypto-friendly regulations do make it an ideal place for cryptocurrency and blockchain innovation, isn't it? And Binance, as we know, is the largest cryptocurrency exchange, surpassing $1 trillion in cumulative trading volume. And regarding Binance as a platform, guys, they serve over 260 million registered users worldwide. And regarding this investment, it does actually strengthen Binance's leadership in digital finance, decentralized finance, as well as tokenized economies. And MGX's CEO, that is Ahmed Yahia, has emphasized the need for secure, compliant, and scalable blockchain infrastructure. And Binance's current CEO, that is Richard Tang, calls the investment a milestone for both Binance and the cryptocurrency industry. And he does underscore Binance's focus on compliance, security, and user protection as well. And Binance, guys, is continuing to collaborate with global regulators to shape responsible crypto policies. And Binance's CEO, that is Richard Tang, was also the former CEO of Abu Dhabi Financial Services Authority, and he did play a very key role in early crypto regulatory framework. And regarding MGX, guys, they do focus on AI-driven investment across sectors like semiconductors, software, life sciences, and tech-enabled services. And Binance does remain committed to expanding financial freedom and accessibility to blockchain and Web3 technologies. So definitely interesting news. Now look, so far as United Arab Emirates is concerned, the country is definitely taking leaps and bounces in it. And with United States of America now a massive fan of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, things are definitely looking good in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency world, isn't it? Imagine, guys, if Kamala Harris was elected, things would have been absolutely catastrophic, not just for the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency world, but even for the geopolitical world. So I'm so thankful that that thing did not happen. So these were the news, guys, on the Bitcoin, blockchain, cryptocurrency, and artificial intelligence world from Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, share the word across. Now for the next few minutes is going to be an Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So let's kick start with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's Josh from Blockchain DXB. You're listening to the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. I have a question by Brian who asks, if the White House officially buys Bitcoin, how would it impact the global cryptocurrency market? Now me personally, Brian, I'm definitely not convinced that the White House will actually go out and buy any Bitcoin as such, because look, in the executive actions, President Donald Trump has clearly mentioned that not a single penny will be spent in buying Bitcoin or even other cryptocurrencies for that matter. And this is connected to even a crypto strategic reserve. So I don't think so that the White House will officially go ahead and buy Bitcoin as such. Rather, what they will do is they might go ahead and, let's say, start accepting taxes in Bitcoin. And if that is the case, that is still great. Now, there is a very high possibility with the Doge savings. That is the Department of Government Efficiency saving, some percentage of that can be used to go ahead and buy Bitcoin. But look, regarding politics, I'm pretty much sure President Donald Trump cannot go ahead and buy Bitcoin as such. It would have to be passed by the Congress. And that, to be honest, I really am not sure if it is ever going to happen. Let's see for a wild circumstance if the White House is in a position to go ahead and buy Bitcoin and put it as a reserve. That, to be honest, will definitely be a game changer. And it would only mean one thing for the price of Bitcoin, isn't it, Brian? The price of Bitcoin might actually shoot up in just a matter of 24 hours. But the chances of the White House officially buying Bitcoin, according to me, is pretty much less. And this is something which mainstream media always harps upon. And Decrypt, if you actually read through the article, they do not mention any official sources as such. They always talk about sources, or they talked about insider information. Now, based on my information covering Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, these news are definitely not legitimate news. So to answer your first part of your question, Brian, I don't think so that White House will officially go ahead and buy Bitcoin, and there will be so many such legal hurdles. I'm pretty much sure Democrats who completely hate Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, they would definitely not want that thing to happen. And even me, to be completely honest, I would rather have individuals like you and me to go ahead and buy Bitcoin rather than a government entity, because what would happen is, the government and the state, they will have more control over the spendings on Bitcoin, isn't it? So me personally, I'm definitely not a fan of this. But let's say for a wild circumstance, if the White House is in a position to go ahead and buy Bitcoin, Brian, it would only mean one thing, that the price of Bitcoin will be heading towards the moon. And I often say this thing, whatever United States of America does, a lot of the other countries, they follow a similar pursuit. And if, let's say, United States of America does officially go ahead and buy Bitcoin, I wouldn't be surprised if the United Kingdom does that. Germany might do that, Switzerland will do that, United Arab Emirates will do that, and a lot of other countries will do that. And that, to be honest, would be great for the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. But from an idealistic point of view, I'm definitely not a fan of it, but definitely an interesting question. And that's about all, guys. I'm the Ask Me Anything season Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Remember, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. we are Blockchain DXB podcast, where we cover top news and information pertaining to the price of Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. We also look at 2 news from Dubai, UAE, and the Middle East. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye-bye.